about, I always say the Treaty of Versailles, but people have always pronounced it another name. So could you tell me how people, what the pronunciation of that treaty?
It's a French word. It's a French
Versailles.
word.
Versailles.
Yep.
Okay.
Versailles. Yeah.
So I have that certified copy of that treaty with the stamp with the damn robber holding the damn bank bag. And I'm quite sure that they know and people been all over the world looking for that stamp. Well, it's in a safe place. Don't come over here trying to look for me and think you're gonna find it because you ain't gonna find it here. Okay? I'm just saying that when it's time to put it where it's supposed to go in Big Mama's bank as a deposit, we're gonna be able to do a whole lot of stuff.
So they cataloged everything they stole. That was part of the banker's responsibility to keep an accounting of all assets that they acquire.
Right, and they're only trustees or fiduciaries to the assets. They don't own them like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all those people who are in the banking industry. That's all people know, that they think they're rich. They're not rich. They just mirroring uh what they've been what they have as fiduciaries, but they don't own shit. It's ours. I
So
yield.
that take us to the reason why we collecting the paperwork, not because the paperwork govern us, because we need them to surrender the foundational documents as part of the process of reclaiming what's ours. They
Mm-hmm.
wrote the paperwork. We didn't. They want us to continue to file paperwork to prove we imbeciles in law to justify their position as our caretakers because we are imbeciles. We are
Mm-hmm.
adolescent in law.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got all of the foundational documents required. The Pope rescinded the discovery doctrine,
Mm-hmm.
which all of this is built on the discovery doctrine globally.
Mm-hmm.
The bank surrendered the banking documents because you had the DNA code. They had to give it to you, not me.
Well,
So I just had to tell them to cancel all of the treaties for non-performance and fraud.
right.
And that was done July the 6th, 2019. And on July the 19th, 2019, they surrendered the documents required in order for us to capture the foundational documents from the Rothschilds.
And which I
So
hold.
now, yeah. So now we got all of the stuff we needed. All we need now is to get
The gold.
the hard disclosure. So we looking at soft disclosure. When we say soft disclosure, that means they're gonna tell you something, but they might not immediately act on it when they say they're gonna act on it. They just need you to know that something is about to happen. Hard disclosure means they flat out telling you they not giving no room for anybody to escape when they tell it, and then they're gonna show you the receipts. So waiting on hard disclosure, which is gonna reveal the tribunals, draining the DC swamp. We had to reclaim the 10 square miles of DC. We did that. The tribes did that in 2017 by staking a totem pole. They operate under the law of the flag. We operate under the totem pole, which is the law of
Did,
the land.
did you
You
see
can't
the
stake
new
a totem
totem
pole on
pole
water.
for the matriarch?
I ain't seen it yet.
You ain't said, oh, well, let me just pull it up for you. Oh, the matriarch got a new totem pole. Give me 1 minute. Let me turn my camera around. Y'all getting that? Because we displayed it on our last Tuesday's call. Um, let's see if I can
Can you finish from here, Empress? I gotta go do a couple things before I get on this other show.
okay, yeah, Jaguar and myself will finish up. I am gonna show you. I'll send you the picture of the totem pole.
Okay.
I'll send it to you by text in a little bit.
Okay.
So
I'm about to get ready to go do an interview with Dr. G.
Okay, I saw that.
Do it. It's always a banger, and it's pretty much an update on the land. We're gonna bring a lot of stuff to you. Crack a lot of codes. We pretty much closing them out. We finishing them off. This is the end. You know, they whole system, man. You know, the what we've been waiting on the whole time, and we brought Chief on to go over some of these slides, and it's gonna be fire, man. You want to say something, Chief, before we get cracking?
Welcome to the Great Awakening, where everything that you thought it wasn't what you thought you saw. You seen what you thought you saw, but what you saw wasn't what you was looking at. Mm-hmm. Your vision was obscured by misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, and false information. It was a psychological warfare to erase your mind so that once your mind erased, they can take your soul. But can't nobody take your soul because the oversoul got the monopoly on the soul deeds. So when they try to take your soul, they can only take what you surrender. So they bind you by contract. And the contract is the fraud, which is the deal with the devil. The devil is the enemy. The enemy is the ones who came to replace us on our own land. Like we wasn't going to wake up to realize that we was already here. With that being said, we about to get into these videos. Roll the coin, young girl, and let's get it in, baby.
Let's roll that first for dead, and then locked us into this matrix where we don't really got no money. And so they locked us in the trust when they marked us for dead. Civius Mortis is what it's called, right? Civius Mortis.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it. Okay, yeah. So, but that ties into the QV trust. What you were saying, right? Of how they got us labeled as dead, and then they acting as trustees because we are mentally dead. But this is part of the Great Awakening. Could you go in on that? You went in on the last tape a little bit about the stuff. Could you go in on it again on that, tying into this?
Can you access real quick the SESQ trust receipt from the last show?
Yeah, I can. I got you. Hold up, let me do it.
So when they came over here, remember the Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark had to survey the land. They had to come back to DC and report the land. This is how they established the protectorate right turned into a salvage operation to expand from the Port of Nola all across the Louisiana territory and violate the treaty that they had signed as a protectorate agreement for the tribes from the Appalachians to the Rocky Mountains was not supposed to be bothered. They wasn't supposed to cross the Appalachians and move westward, but they did. So when they declared all of the royalty gone, now they have to claim the royal asset by drawing up a trust. And when they drew up the trust, they had to have a foundation in which the trust would be administrated through. So the guy in the will told you where they was going through all of this paperwork at. Remember, I've been telling you they know who we all are since birth. They've been keeping track of everything we do. He just told you how they do it. Right here, the SESQ Act of 1666 was enacted in 1666, although it received royal assent on February the 8th, 1667. That means that it was given to the league. In this case, it was given to either the King of England or the Pope to approve as a royal document. That's why I say the world we see world is sick. That means it was recognized by somebody in a royal capacity.
Mm-hmm.
They say the act addressed the legal challenges of proving the death of people who had disappeared. The only people on earth that disappeared through paper genocide is us.
That's right.
And we still here. Especially after events like the Great Plague and Great Fire of London in 1665 and 1666.
Mm-hmm.
Now notice they mention in the Great Fire of London and the Great Plague of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because this is when they start, parents start dying off. And orphans begin to accumulate. Right? They say it allowed for a legal declaration of death, right? The classification of death for those who had been missing for 7 years to resolve issues related to their property and inheritance. Now, all of what we are under right now is the European control of the British Empire. But it's an expansion of the Vatican, which is a continuation of Rome, which was a continuation of Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So even though they right here, initially they talking about Europe, because this is where it's being developed at, in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But once they establish a measure by which to catalog the royalties of other lands that's acquired by the crown,
Mm-hmm.
in order for the crown to be able to use the asset as a collateral to borrow and lend fiat,
Mm-hmm.
promissory notes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Once they are able to do this, now they only have to do is convince the people to participate in the system established.
That's
We
right.
know there's the Social Security Act, the Internal Revenue Act, the Birth Certificate Act, which initiated the need for birth certificates, because we used to keep it in the family book that looked like the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, we started putting it in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
right? This was our family book of life. Every family had one.
Mm-hmm.
So this tells you who your relatives was, what they did, where they came from, how often they stopped in, at Big Mama house. All that stuff was in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we visit Big Mama house, we leave her a little love note in the family book. Hey, Big Mama,
Mhm.
thanks for the fried chicken and cornbread. Thanks for the corn, right? Love you. And made it law. The law is all traced back under Admiralty because they all use Admiralty flags in the judiciary. The Bar Association is under the command of England because the first charter that initially created the bar members was initiated by King George in Savannah, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We went over that in prior classes and actually showed some of the documents. In that document, they told them to use the legal means to take everything we got. This is when they developed the death pledge called the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
The mortgage is another run around the sharecropping agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It shouldn't take you, if it take you 4.5 to 6 years to pay off a $60,000 car, why do it take you 40 years to pay off an $80,000 house?
Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense. Why don't I get a car loan instead of buying a car? I go buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
You see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So they use home ownership, which you don't never own, because if you owned it, they wouldn't be able to tax it.
Yeah, you're a tenant. Yep. I got you listed as a tenant.
Even on your deed, your deed to property,
Mm-hmm.
most of the deeds classify you as tenant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all mortgages classify you as tenant.
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of the tax rolls identify you as tenant. Some of them might say owner, but you ain't no owner if you paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You're the renter. You just renting from the what they call the municipality.
Yep. Ward. You're a ward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they telling you it's okay for you to live there, but you got to give us this amount of money every month after you done paid for the whole house, paid in full. They tell you it's for services, but you still got to pay utilities. What services is it for? Because road services and city tax. So why is it tax on my property? Right? The property tax is because they don't have the right to own the land, so they can't sell the land.
Right.
All they can do is what they can entertain squatter rights. So everybody that went through the mortgage system went through a sharecropping system to become a squatter.
Right.
And paid to be a squatter on the land. The only people that ain't supposed to pay taxes is the women. Property taxes on the land. And the women from the land.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they are the ones that's the first heirs to the land. And this is why they don't want the matriarchy to rise, because it put the proper heirs in charge of the asset. Which means they cash in the QEV trust.
Mm-hmm.
And all the money they were squandering in your name, you now have access to it. But it's going to be some hoops to jump to get it. Because if you just make everybody rich overnight, ain't nobody going to do shit tomorrow. Won't be nobody at work, they find out they got $30 million. Who going to work? 80 to 90% of the people, if they had that kind of money, would not go to a job tomorrow. It's only a handful of them with impeccable work ethic and that really love their job that's going to show up. Everybody else going to be like, man, F that job.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All I needed was just a leg up so I could quit.
Right.
You walk around, find out you were the heir to Brewster's Millions.
Right. Right. Right.
You ain't going to work. You hit the lotto mega million for $386 million. You ain't going to work.
Right.
You go to Vegas, hit the slots for $5 million. You're not going back to work.
Right.
Your whole life gonna change.
Right.
But if you don't know how to manage money, you'll be broke in a year.
Right.
Whether they give you 40,000 or 40 million, it won't matter. If you don't know how to manage money, the more you got, the faster it leak.
Right.
And you don't know how to patch up the holes. So all that ties back into how they use the system to steal our wealth in our face behind our back.
Right.
Right? They sit there moving all this gold around the world that belong to us.
Right.
In our face. Right? They sipping off oil from over here under the pretense of military use, selling it on the black market because they're not supposed to sell our oil.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why the majority of the oil pumped in America is reserved for military use only.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only time we're supposed to be able to allow the policing force on the land to use the oil is to defend the land.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they've been starting wars all over the world. Because if we don't need them to defend the land, we can do it ourselves. We don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't need them, then we asking for our shit back. We ain't asking. We told you we coming to get it, and you can't stop us because you don't have no say in this. Don't belong to you. So all of the ones that wanted to usurp us, nope, we know who we is, and we back for everything they owe. And it just so happened they owe us everything, including the QEV trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, so my next question for you, Ron, tied it to all that, because I'm actually gonna do a whole breakdown, AI breakdown on this trust to get more into it for the people extra. But this is a couple of questions that people ask since we on this topic of the money and them robbing us and all that. Now, first let's talk about the snaps. All right, so we pretty much finna go to a new whole month of the government being shut down. And now a whole bunch of rumors is going around about people doing raiding stores and people panicking like how I'm gonna feed my kids, what I'm gonna do for Thanksgiving, this and that. So what is your story or take for those guys? Is the government gonna open back up? Is emergency funds? What is going on with the snaps, brother? Go ahead.
Listen, man.
Go ahead.
That shit was never permanent to begin with. Never intended to last as long as it did.
Go ahead, bro.
Right? What we need to be doing is trying to figure out if they do stop it, what do we do next? Who's farming good that's willing to pass some of that stuff out to the people that need the benefit?
Right.
Then they got other government programs too that they're gonna be steering people toward that pass out food.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that the programs exist. It go back to remember when Ronald Reagan opened up Focus Hope? Focus Hope was a rebrand of the Black Panther food program.
That's right. Stealing. I remember that.
Right. The Black Panthers was doing it in the 60s and the 70s. The government shut them down and they turned around and gave us Focus Hope. Focus Hope was established when they were saying that there's such and such amount of people in America that's starving. Ronald Reagan couldn't understand it because he's aware of what we call government surplus food. Government surplus food is always on reserve because of situations like what's about to happen. A lot of people gonna remember I told y'all before they're gonna raid the grocery stores and grocery stores is gonna be over with. It's gonna be in the grocery stores. Okay, then that means that you're gonna have to be tied to somebody that has a family farm. Acres, not no 20, 30 acres, hundreds of acres. And you got to be willing to do what they need you to do in order to make sure that you can be able to eat. Sometimes you might have to come out and help at harvest time. But if you think that we're going to stay under this fake money system, that's not going to happen.
I'm telling you.
So the SNAP benefit is just another sign of the fall of the corporate government because it was credits. The same as they give you credits in the joint for working that they paying you to work. $1 a day. $1 a day can't feed my cat. And I don't even have a cat.
Right.
So I know it ain't gonna feed my dog.
No.
One can cost $1. $2 actually. So you feed a dog on $1 a day. So what you supposed to do making $1 a day? Figure it out. If you get a high paying prison job, you might get $5 a day. If you got a high paying prison job.
Damn.
Why do you think prisons are so profitable? Slave labor. Remember, 14th Amendment say involuntary servitude can only be inflicted upon those duly convicted of a felony. Why did they put that in there?
Modern day slavery.
That once you get convicted of a felony, you no longer have human rights.
Right.
Human rights don't apply to you. Civil rights don't apply to you. You under the slave codes. And if they didn't tell them how to treat a slave, we got inmates that's been fighting for years about cruel and unusual punishment conditions in prison, and they telling the truth, and the courts don't want to hear it. You got convicted of a crime, you live how you live, but we gonna put you where we put you. Every other country around the world have a better system to deal with criminality than this system that we using now. and we refuse to accept any other system than the one we have now because we got too much free labor.
Yeah.
Slavery is the heartbeat of America, and most people don't know they slaves, even if they making $40 an hour.
Damn.
Even if they sign to the NBA, NFL, they are slaves.
Young Dog put a CD out called Rich Slave. Rich Slave. That's cold right there.
Somebody wrote a book called $100 Million Slave about the athletes. Wow. See, they got so many restrictions in their contract that they got to abide by in order to get the money that they so hardly work for.
Mm-hmm.
Why can they pay a basketball player a $80 million contract
mm-hmm.
for a 3-year deal? How can they pay 5 different players on the team similar contracts?
Right.
And they can't afford to pay teachers better.
Right.
They can't afford to pay EMS better.
Damn, bro, you talking?
They deserve it.
I love it.
Right? Just as much as the athletes, but the value of the entertainment industry surpasses the value of those critical services industries like education and medicine. First responders.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about funding the police, but we can do more for the fire department.
That's right.
Fire department ain't got a history of screwing us over. I never heard an After Fire Department song yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they gonna run in the burning building to save my cat, they should at least be compensated for it.
Right.
Properly compensated, not, you have a lot of these major corporations doing profit sharing with the company employees, right?
Right.
But they don't want to give them all of the benefits they deserve. They fight them tooth and nail for any concessions to the worker. The company don't want to give them nothing.
Right.
And if they negotiating committee not strong, the company gonna take stuff from them and force them to make concessions. Then they're gonna lose the chess game. When you got a third party arguing for what you already know, like the people that work on the factory floors know the dangers of the factory better than the people they hire to negotiate their contracts. Why are you hiring these goofies?
Right.
If you know that if this machine don't get these parts, this cover put on it, somebody gonna die in there, and you trying to tell these fools and they don't want to hear it because they don't even know what the factory floor look like.
Yeah.
They shouldn't even be negotiating your terms and conditions. They have no vested interest.
Right.
Their vested interest is in their personal gain. When you look at the company have the resource to give excessive amounts of bribe money to the third party that the unionized workforce, if they understood what was going on, would be able to match. But they can't match it because they don't know this secret squirrel crap going on behind the scenes where they passing envelopes with hundreds and hundreds of dollars in it under the table. They giving people duffel bags full of money under the table.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us this concession this time. In the auto industry, where I came from, when I left because I was trying to warn my coworkers of they being investigated for taking bribes. You can go look this up. We negotiating a contract with people doing the negotiations under criminal investigation.
Man.
How in the hell, where is their appearance of propriety? That's not coming to the table in good faith. And if they was taking the bribes, who was the bribes benefiting, the company or the worker? The worker wasn't giving them the bribes, so they couldn't have been receiving the proper benefit. So how many concessions was made in this manner over the years that caused the worker to lose out hundreds of dollars an hour in wage increases over the years?
Yeah, that's facts.
Right? Minimum wage has outstripped the wage of upper middle class auto workers.
That was the plan too.
When the minimum wage was $1 something an hour, auto workers had negotiated a $20 an hour cap on their contracts. Auto workers is still, the average auto worker is under $30 an hour. The minimum wage is all the way up to like $12 an hour now.
Damn.
The inflation increase and the wage increase from those at the top and at the bottom of the middle and lower class, the bottom is catching up to the top too fast, when it should be the other way around. If you want to keep these people properly paid, then minimum wage should be a minimum percentage of the highest paid worker in the company.
Right. That makes sense.
So if you come in to GM and the CEO making $65 million a year plus benefits, hell, you ought to be making about $60 to $80 an hour.
Damn, so do.
Nope, they don't do it like that. Even with the benefit of profit sharing, you still don't come out to more than about $35 to $40 an hour.
Damn.
They getting gypped. Right? The auto workers could have got anything they wanted if they knew in to ask at the right time. They should be making let's say GM, the one I work for. I think that they max out hourly wage, max out at like $40 something an hour. They wage max out because the way you get your raises is that you get incremental raises over time, right? And right now, the people at the highest pay scale, they should be getting about $60 to $75 an hour compared to the people with less seniority. They not. Then, when people get hurt on the job, you got to fight too hard to get workers' comp. They know you got hurt on the job. They sent you to the hospital, and they want to give you all these hoops to jump through. And then they put delays on the pay to make you suffer while you off suffering. That's called compound suffering, right? So at that point, you should be able to get the company should provide you a Aflac card, because Aflac gonna pay your bills for you while they waiting to determine if they gonna give you workers' comp or not. Right? That's to offset the lost wages while you waiting and unable to pay for your lifestyle. Now we going under the new system though. Ain't gonna be no credit system. So insurance gonna be did different. And most people are going to be in charge of their own labor insurance, health insurance, and other related insurances. But because when you find out how the insurance companies create insurance started with us. Most of us don't know it, but the policies was to pay the insurance policies off. For the ones of us who deceased, they became known as the numbers. Right. So the way it used to work is if enough people spending a penny, right, on the policy, the number got a number that's in the policy you paying. Right? So you match the number up to the policy, you know when the payout come, who get what.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the policy was how we, kept our wealth among the tribes. They took it and turned it into a super lotto, mega millions, lotto, lottery numbers, making billions of dollars a year, and they supposed to use a sizable portion of it for education, but the education department ain't seeing it in the sheer amount of money that they raking in versus what they paying them, what the payout is. They use the pretense of funding education to get it passed into law by the general public.
Damn.
Because they knew that if it wasn't the way for us to benefit from it, why would we vote for that? But what we didn't know, so we always got to bring the part we didn't know of. The reason all you did was took poker out of the casino where they can play poker digitally and make the payout remotely. That's all the lottery is.
Mm-hmm.
We used to use horse races to determine the trifecta, the 3 digits.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was called the number runners or the running numbers. It's the horses. And that's how it became number running.
That's right.
Because they were putting numbers on the horses that was running the race.
Mm-hmm.
With the marathon continues.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's another thing. Remember, did we talk about Pope, the new Pope, getting the white horse?
No.
So everybody was like, oh, look, the pale white horse. In the book of Revelations, where you get this concept from, the pale horse and the white horse is not the same horse. The pale horse is not white. It's like a grayish color. Right? Now, a frame of reference to understand what I'm talking about, the white horse is actually white. But the pale horse, if you go to the Clint Eastwood Pale Rider, you'll see what a pale horse looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And he was supposed to represent the death that rode on the pale horse in the movie, but he was a priest.
Mm-hmm.
No coincidences here.
Damn.
He was supposed to be the death that rode on the pale horse, but he was a priest and a gunslinger. So they telling you without telling you. The white horse, on the other hand, right? When you see Nipsey Hussle and Lauren London take a picture with the white horse.
Mm-hmm.
In the book of Revelations, it say the white horse was the conqueror and was given the power to conquer, and he went about conquering and to conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's just like them chickens come home to roost, the horse returns to the stable. Most people don't know this. That's why cowboys notorious for getting drunk, and their horse got to ride them home. That's
right. Horse can do that too.
Right? If you ain't from the South, you don't even know what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, my daddy horse just do that for him.
They talking about drunk driving. That's why they banned horses everywhere, because it wouldn't be no such thing as drunk driving, because the dude going out to drink, he wouldn't take his BMW. He'd take his horse so he could get sloppy drunk, get on his horse, and his horse going to take him home.
Mm-hmm. And it ain't against the law. In some states, you can ride a horse and get drunk. In some states.
Yeah. That's most of those are southern states, though. Yeah. In the north, they got all of these new road regulations restricting horse and carriage movement. They can't do it in places where the Amish live. Because it would infringe on their constitutional right to stay to themselves. Right? So they won't do it in those places, but in places where ain't no Amish, oh yeah. And where they got cities like, you're not finna just be riding a horse on the side of the road.
Right.
right? They had a dude. I saw some video somebody sent me last week. Guy was riding his horse home, to work, and the police stopped him and swerved at the horse, right? When man got done with him, the police had to apologize to him, and he said something about he wanted him to get a ticket for animal cruelty. Now I don't know if they wrote the ticket, but the guy that was riding the horse knew the laws of the area he was in well enough to know he could ride his horse to work. Most of us don't know it in the area we're in because you have firm restrictions in inner cities. That's to stop you from growing food in your front yard and raising animals in your backyard.
I just said it. Hey, Rod, I got one more question before we go to the next slide. Kind of like went over, like touched on it a little bit, but some people said, they said, ask this. Now, some people, a lot of people getting laid off, man. I think it's Amazon laid off a certain amount of people, 30,000 people. UPS laid off a whole bunch of guys. So a lot of guys getting a lot of jobs laying off now. Some people saying that they replacing them with AI robots, right? But they making it hard for these people to get unemployment. And they say, I've been working 15 years, never took a day off, this and that. And now y'all laying me off and I'm going to get unemployment and y'all saying that y'all can't give it to me. They don't even want to give. So what are your take on the unemployment situation, how they rejecting specifically? It seems like it's a lot of Nubians that's getting rejected from unemployment after they got laid off at these places.
Unemployment is labor insurance. It's insurance that pays you. You pay the premium in it out of your state and local taxes. It's a premium come out. But the problem is there's a veto right goes to the company you work for. They can veto your unemployment.
Yeah, that's there.
Okay, if they veto your unemployment, now you got to have a hearing. Remember earlier I was saying like you have to jump through all these hoops to get workers' comp.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with unemployment. And the union, a good solid union, and this is why I learned about the workers' union and the UAW. When we got mass laid off in 2010, 2009, 2008, whatever it was, we got the mass layoff. They helped us all by doing a mass unemployment for all of the employments by using the company's number. And because we have this union, these people that understand how unemployment work, where you had other workers that was third party in the same plant, they don't have our representation. First of all, they weren't supposed to be there as third parties. They supposed to came in under UAW. But the company paid somebody to make it okay for them to bring in non-unionized local workers. They can be unionized where they at, but they can bring them in like temps, right, to work in the factories that unionized workforce. First of all, the OGs who fought in Flint wouldn't in 8 beams. They not finna let you bring in no third party because the union can do catering for lunches. But guess what? They got an outside caterer to come in and overcharge us for lunches. See, so the union that we have now don't understand why the unions from old fought so hard for all of the benefits that they fought for, and why they knew not to give the concessions to the company. Because the company is the same as the colonizer. You give them an inch and they want the whole cake. They not going to, they will try everything they can and fight you for the last crumb. Right. So So we still have to deal with the unemployment agencies. But if you don't have a solid foundation to deal with them on, plus they're gonna be swamped. And that's gonna slow down the unemployment automatically. Now, unemployment is state by state. It's not national. So the states that had the highest unemployment rate is going to have the most difficult time paying out unemployment payments. When they be issuing how much people are unemployed, they're not talking about people in the country. They're talking about how many people that's been working either are not working or are brought back to work. When they start talking about new jobs, they might create new jobs, but they're not counting the job. They counting the new workers that's entering into the job force for the first time. The teenagers. Right? So when they say we got this many new jobs, yeah, that's because y'all opened up 10 more McDonald's and hired all of these kids. So you can pay them minimum wage.
Yeah. Damn.
That's why they cut chefs out at McDonald's. That was part of the cost-cutting original model, was to take out the chef. They don't need a chef.
Wow.
Because everything is standardized. Because it's standardized.
Hitting the planet, and that's part of the Great Awakening, the speeding of the you know what I'm saying? So some people are still asleep. So the Schumann resonance and the separation of the bots versus the people that's awoke. Could you go in on that?
So first off, everybody not gonna wake up. They're not supposed to.
Okay.
The only ones that's supposed to wake up is the ones that's supposed to be part of the new earth. The ones who don't wake up, some of them is gonna phase out of existence, and you're gonna forget they was ever here.
I can see that.
And then you got other ones who are considered the chaff. Somebody coming to get them, and it ain't me. They don't belong here, so they can't wake up. Some of them might be your family members that you dearly care about. You're not going to stop them from going with the people that's coming to get them, because they will fuck you up about trying to stop them.
Damn.
Literally. Right? So, you have to prepare yourself that you might see anything. No matter how crazy it might sound, you might see anything on the flip. Because when it flip, stuff just start moving randomly in different places. It's just like if you suddenly shift the room that you're in, stuff gonna fall off the table. Right? But it's gonna happen in a metaphorical sense. Spiritual to physical, physical to spiritual. People gonna be seeing what they call spirits or ghosts, right? And they gonna be like, I thought that stuff was fake. Timelines will be bleeding into this one, and your ghost is bleeding in from the nearest timeline to you. They really not in your timeline,
right?
They just bleed. Imagery is bleeding through. And some of the empaths' empathy is so strong that they can actually communicate with them like they standing right here.
Yeah.
All that's part of the awakening. The Schumann resonance was what you asked me about. Ain't really. We talked about the solar flare that's going to trigger the Schumann resonance to alter the DNA. The sun, the scientists have been warning us that the sun is on the verge of a major solar flare. And they've been letting off some pretty hefty winds, and they say that when the big solar flare comes, those are going to pale in comparison. So we've been feeling it. It's just going to intensify.
Hey, Rod. Speaking of mass awareness, and I saw this short where this guy was explaining the energy that they collect at football stadiums, the way they built in a bowl, and how people sit there and stare and shoot energy towards the players, right? And then I saw another clip where the dude Alex Collier, the dude that talk about the Andromedans all the time, he said that there is one dude that they brought on stage, and then he told him to hold his arms out, right? And then he tried to push him down, and then he couldn't push him. He said, "Well, stop me from pushing your arms down," and he couldn't push the dude's arms down. And then he turned to the crowd. It was about like 300 people in the crowd, and he said, "I want all of y'all in the crowd to think on one mind. And I want y'all to think and focus on this dude on the stage and think that he weak and that he can't stop me from pushing his arms down." And then so the dude put his arms up and did the same method, but he couldn't stop Alex Carter from pushing his arms down because everybody in the audience was focused on he weak. So could you go in on the collective mass awareness of everybody having the same type of mindset, like being that everybody's a lot of people are coming online about this elite, the dark, all these dark energies that been moving. Everybody's coming online about it. How does that affect them? Being that we are aware of their dirty, dark back, whatever all the stuff that they do.
One thing, our awareness is our psychic self-defense at the beginning.
Okay, fire.
Right. As soon as you become aware that somebody is trying to do dirt to you, you can defend yourself.
Go ahead.
When somebody exposed the spells that's been placed on you, your spirit body begins to put things into motion to break you from under that spell. That's why we explain to you Kingu, Amen, and the George Washington Challenge in so much detail, hammering it home so hard because those were the main spells that was keeping us from the Great Awakening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So that means somebody was actively interfering with our awakening process that we normally go through in cycles. But somebody didn't want us to wake up this time.
Mm-hmm. 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 We got about you gotta get up out of here like about 9:45, 9:50, so we got about 13 minutes. I guess we'll take about 2 questions from the crowd. I got one more question for you. Somebody asked about mass awareness, the Schumann resonance. We already asked about all that, so pretty much like we got to cover. Oh yeah, insurance. So man, I feel like we've been getting frauded, like car insurance, all this insurance. They charge us like, oh, I'm paying $300 a month for, and I don't even get in a wreck, and then it's like for not even for full coverage. You know what I'm saying? So like the insurance companies with their fraud, I believe a lot of insurance companies commit fraud, man. Like it's a fraud. There's a lot of people coming out about it now. Since like like this new awakening, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, but do you know what the fraud is with the insurance company?
What is the fraud? Because I heard a lot of perspectives, but what you got on it?
When you open an insurance policy, you opening a what we call a whole life savings account,
mm-hmm.
and from that savings account, they buy what they call investment bonds that mature on average every 20 years. Every time you get a new insurance policy, it's tied to the first one you ever opened. And so let's say you went through, I just got them going over this with my brother. I just come back up.
Wow.
When you paying insurance to, let's say you start off using Geico.
Uh-huh.
It's your first insurance policy ever. They open up this account. Right? It's a set in is Lord set. The aftermath, the suffix in is the Lord who claimed power. He took it. This is verifiable through the Holy Drama when Set slays brother Osiris and takes power. So Satan is Lord Set who took power from rightful heir Osiris, but who dread the arrival of the son of his sister Isis who is his nephew, who comes to become the father and replace him with a rightful heir. It's the story. It's a cyclic story. Keep repeating in every culture around the world, no matter what language it is, the cycle repeats. In India, it's the Ramayana. Ram, the heir to the throne. He get blocked from the throne because his brother don't want him to take power. Scared of him. But his other brother loyal to a fault. Right? Their father want him to take power, but he got to take power. Can't be submissive to being exiled from your own kingdom. You have to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So who do we get? He go get Lord Hanuman. Why he go get Lord Hanuman? Because he complete all tasks. He tap into his monkey totem. He got a task to complete. It's the same story. In India, in China, he's not Hanuman. He's Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. A terror to the gods. Well, who else was a terror to the gods? Nimrod.
Right.
But now you're in Babylon. Same character, same story, different name for the player.
Right.
It's a Nimrod, the one the gods feared and trembled at his sight. How you gonna make a god scared? What kind of cold piece of work is you? The gods is fearing you.
Yeah.
But it ain't Nimrod, it's Rod them. Who is Rod them? My staff, my Rod and my staff.
Yeah,
Rod them.
That's fire.
But all of the structure is there. The cycles repeat. All of this stuff they can call it ancient is still current.
Yeah.
Everything that was is, and everything is was. It's in different levels of decay because the cycles has been renewed. The more cycles we've been through, the further back it is in the strata of the timeline. And very rarely does something fade into oblivion, because when you get to the core, you get to the distance collection of the data. Then it all spring forth, and you can artificially do it through earth rights. I'm not going to get into earth rights because that's going into the specifics of how to perform the magic ritual. But the thing again, we're trying to get you to understand is that some of this stuff, we know it already, but because we chose to not know it while we go through it at this time, it's like walking through the house of mirrors.
Man, it's like
while you're in the house of mirrors, everything looks funny, but every mirror got a different form. And that's how you walking through life. And as soon as you see your reflection in everything else, you can straighten out the funny in the mirrors and you can see yourself in every shape. No matter how the mirror contort, you can know where you at all times. Right? It's called balancing your equilibrium. Getting your stability together. Let me get my feet under me. If your feet under you, you got to stand up straight. What's going to throw you off balance? If you rock from side to side, going to increase. The more you rock, the more off balance you get. So as you're going through this crazy ass mirrors, if you let the images of yourself you see in the mirrors distort who you are and take you away from your center. Right? So we say bump straight. Stay on your center. And don't let stuff move you off your center. Stand on principle and values instead of philosophy and opinion.
Yeah, say hold your square in the Masonic order. Hold your square.
Yeah. If you say you believe in it, live by it.
Yeah.
But if somebody don't believe what you believe, don't expect them to live by what you live by.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get mad at them. Explain to you why you live like you live and why you believe what you believe. might get a convert, or he might explain why he don't believe what you believe because he used to believe it before, and why he got away from it. But you don't know without the conversation. You can't judge a person's character by what he believes. You can only judge his character by how he behaves. Because you got a lot of people that profess to be, but only a few of them that'll walk the path.
Right.
So you got to watch people's actions. They're going to show you where they at by what they do.
Right. Right. Hey, Rod. So, hey, we about 2 hours and a half. You got time to take questions from the crowd? Are you good?
I need you to ask this in front of the public.
Okay.
I got donation information to donate to Brother Bobby Hemmett, and I wanted to do a short to tell people how to donate to Brother Bobby Hemmett, where he directly, not indirectly, get his donations.
Okay.
Because a lot of people been claiming they're gonna help him, and then they end up getting his donations and living their life on them.
Dang.
You know, so we want to get a direct source directly from Bobby in order for y'all that want to support him.
That's
He don't want to be seen right now because he's, you know, he said he did his part. So he say everything he needed to say has already been said until he come back out to say something different. Yeah. He said, but they want to know, they look at his tapes, he spoke for himself. Right. So we're going to get his donation information, and I don't know, I might have you do an AI commercial for him.
Yeah, we can do that. I can do that. I can do that. That'll be fine. I can do that. It ain't going to take but a couple minutes. If you just send me all the stuff, I'll give it to AI. It can just put it right together for a couple minutes.
We figure out something creative where people can, where I don't want it to be no middleman between his donations and him.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so that way nobody can say somebody's stealing his money.
Yeah.
You know, because it's been happening. The same with Malachi.
Yeah.
You know, if y'all want to send Malachi something, send it to the ADX address until he get to a place where he can come home and you can send it to him at home. You don't worry about trying to get nobody any money for lawyers or to help Malachi. Send it directly to Malachi, and he can pay for it out of his account. That's the best way to do it, where he can control his destiny.
Right.
So all his children start to have him send it because he can only have so much money on his books. Then he have to take it off his books. Anything over a certain amount, they're going to give him a certain amount of time, and he can use that and for whatever. But I don't know what the amount is because the feds is different than the state.
Yeah, I think the feds is higher, and it's higher number.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, some people just wealthy.
Yeah, it's millionaires in the feds and got $1 million. They still got their money because they didn't go for like a RICO.
Right.
Or something. Yeah.
Right. So like, they might have been a millionaire, but they didn't do nothing nefarious with the money.
Yeah.
They might have got caught trying to hire a hitman to kill their wife.
Yeah. So yeah.
You know, that's fair time all day long, murder for hire.
Yeah, straight up.
Right. So, I don't know how much his cap is, but if he need to send it home, he got enough children who he knows supporting him that he can know who to send what. So we could just cut all of the middlemen out or trying to get anything to him by just send it straight to Bob. If you got a donation from Malachi, get his ADX and just send it to him. You don't have to write no letter.
Yeah, I got the address. It's certain things with that. Like if you send him some, I think don't send them like talking about like they really don't want him sending nobody really sending him nothing like talking about like stuff that we talk about because it like get him in trouble. Some stuff get him in trouble. So I don't know. I might have to get with somebody on that. But I don't know about the money part. Like send him the, you can probably send him the money part, but like sending him a letter or something like that with some weird stuff in it.
Well, they only gonna allow him. He got a list of approved people that can write him.
Yeah.
Right. That's by his JPay. Now I don't know if they still do letters in there or not, where you can write letters, because he used to get his letters.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people used to write back and forth with him, so I know he used to get his letters that was written, and he would tell them there's certain stuff y'all can't write to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't write about this, don't write about this, and don't write about this. And then they go about their business. But yeah, he used to get his letters, get to read his letters. They just used to give him a hard time